From the dark secrets of the Frankenstein Castle to the stone that people seem to want to kiss for some reason, here are strange things found in castles.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm your host, American Eye, keeping an eye on everything you want to know.
But first, quick shout out goes to Cowboy USA for leaving us this comment in our recent video about pets that should never be released in the wild. Those former pet snails in the video though have not been a very tasty form of escargot because they eat paint. Stay tuned for today's question for your chance to get featured in an upcoming video. Number 13. Beefeater's Pub, Tower of London. The Tower of London used to be used as a dungeon and is a popular tourist attraction in modern times despite its haunting past. It's believed to be haunted by Anne Boleyn, who was held against her will by King Henry VIII before she met her awful fate. A beefeater guard has a tough job of monitoring the prisoners, and they continue to work at the tower as tour guides. You might have seen them before on the Beefeater's gin bottle, but in any case, they have a secret little spot where they like to meet up away from all the tourists. Only 37 people are allowed at the Beefeater's Pub at the Tower of London, which is basically like their break room. It's believed that there are expensive artifacts being kept at this pub, such as an axe used against King Henry's former queens. Number 12. Roman coin in Japan. In September of 2016, Japanese archaeologists managed to uncover Roman coins in the ruins of an old castle across the world. They came up with 10 bronze and copper coins that dated back to 400 and 300 AD in the Katsura Castle. This was the first time researchers have found Roman coins in Japan, and there is no link between these two civilizations during the period of time. Some believe the coins reached the islands at some point in the Middle Ages, where there was more contact between the West and the East. X-ray analysis of the coins proved that they were Roman when they could see the Roman letters in the results. The image also shows Emperor Constantine I and a soldier holding onto a spear. Number 11. The Hauschka Castle, Czech Republic. A castle in Czech Republic allegedly covers a pit that leads directly to the gates of hell. King Ottokar from the 1200s offered to excuse anyone from their crimes if they agreed to be lowered into the pit. The first one to offer let out a panic-stricken scream, begging for mercy. Apparently, when he had been brought to the surface, he completely lost his mind. Disfigured ghosts and even a human-frog hybrid were believed to have been found here. One thing you should keep in mind about this place is that it seems to be designed to keep things inside rather than to keep things out. It's probably best just to stay away. Number 10. Dragsholm Castle, Denmark. Possibly the most haunted place in Denmark is known as Dragsholm Castle in Zealand. This is reportedly crawling with ghosts. One of them is a white lady who fell in love with a local commoner man, which her father certainly didn't approve of. This father really didn't want his daughter to bring any disgrace to the family, and he locked her up in her room so she could never see him again. A few centuries later, when workers were making some restorations, they came across her skeleton wearing a white dress. The Baroque-style castle also serves as a prison, and numerous witnesses report seeing at least 3 ghosts total here, including Lord Bothwell, who is known for his abduction of Queen Mary of Scots and is buried at the chapel of Dragsholm. Number 9. Frankenstein's Castle Dragon. We're all aware of the story of Frankenstein, written by Mary Shelley in 1818, but what was the setting that she was inspired by? The extremely creepy Frankenstein's Castle, located in Darmstadt, Germany. It's a real place, and it was built in the mid-1200s. After it was built, the people who lived here took the name of Frankenstein, and they were the nobility of the area up until the 20th century. The spooky place is located in a landscape covered in dark forest that's been shrouded with mystery and legend. Some claim that there was even a dragon that used to live in the garden, where epic battles would take place. Others believe there's treasure located somewhere along the presence, and in the 1700s, gold hunters searched the area. The show was featured on Ghost Hunters, and they claimed there was a significant amount of paranormal activity here. The remote parts of the forest also seem to possess some type of magnetism, and compasses don't work there. Number 8. Blarney Stone. The Blarney Stone has been around for several centuries and is probably something you can skip during your next Euro trip. It's said to bring the gift of gab and good luck to those who do. Tourists from around the world assume a strange position on their backs, like in this photo, and give the rock a smooch. Considering how many people have put this thing on their lips, is it even worth a cold sore? Legends even say the bloody stone is cursed too. One man fell suspiciously while trying to kiss the stone. Those out there who try to take a little piece home with them will experience the ultimate opposite effect and get really bad luck. An American woman named Linda says she's living proof of the curse. Within 3 weeks, she unexpectedly lost her job and suffered from severe depression. She took home the rock and mailed it back to Ireland. Just pass on this one. Number 7. Chenome Castle Graffiti. The Knights Templar in France were accused of doing some pretty heinous things during the time when King Philip was expelling them from France. While many believe that these are false accusations, what if they were secretly worshipping Baphomet and committing disgraceful actions against the church? Many of them were rounded up and thrown into dungeons across France, while many others managed to escape persecution and continue their operations elsewhere. Some historians firmly believe that there was something going on after graffiti found from Templar prisoners was recently discovered in the Chinon Castle. The carvings that were done on the wall must have taken days to complete and seem to depict some strange symbols geometrically. It's still a mystery how they were able to create such carvings without proper tools. Number 6. The French Queen's Hairpin. Discovered during the restoration of the beautiful Fontainebleau Chateau, this hairpin belonged to the legendary Queen Catherine de' Medici. This queen was known for being one of the most influential people in France, and anything that belonged to her ends up in a museum somewhere. Catherine was married to King Henry II and gained power quickly. She's even been proclaimed as one of the most powerful people in Europe during the 16th century. It's hard to even put a price on this kind of relic from the past. The photo we see here, the top part of the pin, seems to resemble a Chanel logo. From other jewelers across Europe at this time, she seemed to have one of the best. What made this discovery even stranger is that the pin actually came out of the toilet when it was discovered. Maybe the pipelines have reached a whole new archaeological dig site or something. Number 5. Bohemian Crown Jewels. A presidential palace that's interesting to look into is the Prague Castle, obviously located in the capital city of Prague. It's rumored to hold on to the Bohemian crown jewels that are stashed away in a hidden private room. It's been home to historical figures such as Holy Roman Emperors. The Guinness World Record books claims that it's the oldest and largest ancient castle in the world. It was also built by King Ottokar II, who's famous for the Hauschka Castle previously mentioned. He demanded the construction of greater fortifications, making the formidable stronghold. The castle complex is complete with a cathedral, which is home to the national treasures. It's also home to the St. Wenceslaus sword that we see here, as well as the key of the royal jewels, which certainly makes it tempting to thieves. Number 4. Castello di Sismano Pool. So this pool might look somewhat average, but it's actually surrounded by a 10th century castle. Soak up some history and the sun at the same time. This house is up for sale for $8.3 million, but no one ever said it'd be cheap to be the king of your own castle. Not only that, but it'll also be a great place to hide out at during the zombie apocalypse. Imagine people in medieval times didn't have swimming pools quite like this, but it certainly was a good addition to the property. Number 3. The Uchasar Castle Tunnels. It didn't take long for man to realize how these geological formations in Cappadocia could serve as useful tools. Built out of soft volcanic rock, this is a prominent landmark in the Cappadocia region in central Turkey and is known as the Uchasar Castle. The city of Uchasar is known for its luxury hotels and this castle. It might not be the most striking castle in existence, but it's certainly a good example of how humans can transform landscapes. It's also the tallest point in Cappadocia. Christians began to build churches in Cappadocia as early as the 1st century AD. They began seeking refuge in these mountains, but also underground. That's what this historical area is mostly known for. If you venture underground here, you'll see the Derinkuyu underground city that actually has its origins with the ancient Hittites. Number 2. Le Mont Saint-Michel statue. While the English had been able to conquer much of France throughout various parts of history, they never really managed to capture Le Mont Saint-Michel. Much of the island still maintains its Gothic architecture, and this is quite visible if you're able to enter the Abbey. The Abbey is the centerpiece of this amazing island, and it was constructed in 1708. It took many centuries to complete, but once it opened its doors in Europe, other monks flocked to this area. At the very top of the Abbey is a massive golden-plated statue of Archangel Michael that was recently added with the help of a helicopter. But before we get to our number 1, we'd like to see if you guys know what castle this is in the photo, and the first person to get the answer right will get featured. We'll give you a hint, it's one of the most haunted castles in Europe. And number 1, the Carcassonne paintings. The medieval Cité de Carcassonne was a perfect stronghold for fighting off invaders during medieval times. This was once a thriving trade post that was fortified with over 50 towers, and the walls reached up to 30 feet high. Being a UNESCO World Heritage Site, it's still in great condition to this day, but now it looks a little bit more modern. A modern flair was given to it that we see in this photo, which involved quite a bit of yellow paint. Do you guys think this was a good idea to do this to a historical monument? This addition has been heavily criticized by locals near the castle and feel as though it's desecrating a historical monument of French pride. There's no word on whether or not they've removed the paint just yet, so if you know, let us know in the comment section.
So what'd you guys think of that video? Be sure to hit that like button and let us know your thoughts in the comments section. We'll see you next time.